I want to start by saying thanks, credit to Stephen McMurray. This article I'm going to read out. It's so great I can't resist. You just imagine the newsreader in the future reading this out like as a news bulletin. Hello. A day in the life of tomorrow's child. Now I better not use that voice the whole time. That's really good, actually, this article here that David Icke put on his website. So let's go through it. Mandatory daily status report. Oh, it's mandatory, not voluntary. By Eco Sky, July 12th, 2035. So where are we now? We're about midway through 2020. So what's that, 15 years? This is about 15 and a half years into the future. A little taster of what the future potentially... What am I doing? I don't need those right now. Headphones. Woke up this morning to another beautiful grey sky. The Weather Protection Force had obviously done another great job. That's what I want to be when I leave school, a pilot for the WPF. It would be brilliant to fly around the sky, dispersing the chemicals of the eco-shield to protect the planet from the sun's deadly rays. Still very tired as always. Everybody seems tired nowadays. The Information Bureau says it's probably due to the carbon dioxide. They say there's still too much of the deadly poison in the air. It was 28 degrees today, but after consulting the Gore Adjustment Index to take into account all the variables, we were told that the actual modified temperature is really 39 degrees. This is the hottest summer temperature recorded in London since climate apocalypse monitoring records began in 2021. More evidence of the climate catastrophe that is coming for us all. Made it to school just in time for our first lesson. First lesson was history. We, I think I should say, learned today about the formation of the United Global Alliance. Was taught how this saved the world from chaos. Up until that point, large groups of people called nations or countries tried to run themselves, but without the guiding hand of the Supreme Assembly of the UGA, everything just fell apart. Can you imagine people trying to organise themselves without the assembly? No wonder there was chaos. Then it was sex education class. We learned about the heroes of the sexual liberation of children movement. Before the SLM fought for our freedom, only adults could have sex, but they claimed that was discriminating against minors. After they got the age of consent lowered to 11, now us kids can do it too. Tomorrow we will be given a hands-on practical class in sexual techniques. They promised everyone will be able to have a personal one-to-one. After that we will all be given our breeding licenses so we can become birthers when we are ready. We were reminded, of course, that the licenses could be rescinded at any time if we breached any of the Assembly's regulations. We were also given a list of approved baby names and the contact details of our nearest birth restriction centre to have our anti-fertility chips deactivated. We were also warned about any attempt to feed dirty milk to any future newborns. That old, disgusting habit of breastfeeding is now completely banned. Quite right. Feeding babies that junk is now punishable as a child abuse crime. But really, what cruel person would ever do that when they have Agrichem's wonderful baby formula with at least 10 different life-promoting chemicals in it? After that it was language class. Always have to pay attention here, as it's important to remember what words are now offensive and so can't be used anymore. Don't want to be sent to a linguistic correction facility. His, him, her, she, and all those pronouns have now been officially red listed. Apparently this should have been done years ago, but because the words have fallen into disuse due to their offensive nature, they were overlooked. The same applies to mother and father. The word paedophile has been officially red listed too due to its negative connotations. The new approved word will now be p-sexual, indicating that it is now an officially recognised sexual orientation. The phrase freedom of speech has now been grey-listed, as all citizens have the freedom to express themselves in whatever way the Supreme Assembly permits us to. The phrase is no longer needed. The latest words to be grey-listed are privacy, protest, revolution and debate. These have been made obsolete because they have fallen into disuse and are now only rarely ever used in oral communication amongst the uneducated classes, but their true meanings have long been lost. Even a search on Omni cannot find them anymore. When the old internet was turned off to prevent constant cyber attacks, we were told lots of words had been wiped from the memory base, and they were amongst them. Of course, after the Great Purge, when most of the ancient paper books were shredded due to them being full of anti-vax and immoral content, it meant the only global source of truth became Omni, which is brilliant because it is much more convenient, and of course the info-terrorists can't infiltrate it. Another great idea from the Factual Accuracy and Truth Authority. We were reminded that anyone using any of the dangerous, immoral or anti-civil words or phrases on the red list will face the mandatory penance of 6 months in a linguistic correction facility and a 50% reduction in their personal carbon credits on release. Next up, geography. Most of the lesson was about the climate apocalypse and how we must do everything to prevent it. We were told that some people had been caught tampering with their autopod vehicles to allow them to travel more than the permitted distance allowed under the personal carbon credit rules, so wasting valuable energy. We found out just travelling an extra kilometre could result in the death of 100 polar bears and could cause local hurricanes. Those sick people, how could they do that? Anyway, we found out that those brilliant energy allowance enforcement officers caught them, and they are now in serving 10 years in a re-education centre where they belong. Mental health awareness class. We were told that there have been reports of an outbreak of climate apocalypse denial. They found out that this was due to the culprits somehow missing climate disaster awareness classes when they were younger, and so not being told the true facts of the global calamity that is waiting for us. How they managed to do this I don't know. I presume they somehow deactivated their track link so that their movements couldn't be traced. That would be madness. Imagine going around disconnected to the network, totally unprotected, with no movement and activity safety officers to monitor your whereabouts and keep you safe in case you get into any danger. Apparently they were also in possession of a paper book that escaped the purge that brainwashed them with lies about there being no climate change. I can't believe someone had one of those. They know that is prohibited Class A material. As well as climate apocalypse denial, we were given a list of new mental illnesses that have been added to the Global Mental Health Journal, and which we have to learn word for word. What are they? Historical descent syndrome, repeatedly questioning the true version of historical events that have been agreed upon by the Factual Accuracy and Truth Authority people. With this malady, we will voice bizarre beliefs such as the patently false claim that there used to be thousands of trees in urban areas that were cut down to facilitate the optimal operation of the network. This wild conspiracy is so preposterous it was easily disproved by FATA, who pointed out that the trees actually died due to the joint factors of the climate apocalypse and the short-lived glyphosate ban that ill-advised citizens fought for years ago. As glyphosate has now been deemed to be an essential plant nutrient by the Agrichem Scientific Advisory Board, it meant the trees weren't getting enough nutrition, leading to their demise. Another strange theory exposed by sufferers of HDS are that 30 years ago life expectancy was higher than it is today. These deluded people claim that humans used to live to over 70 years, when every child knows that 60 years of today's citizens is the highest it has ever been due to our great advances in medicine. Gender fixation disorder. Someone who is convinced everyone is born either male or female due to their biology. Despite this argument being scientifically debunked many years ago by the great work of experts in the field of agender science, some people still retain this primitive belief. However, as this unacceptable line of thinking is now an ultra-hate crime, those who suffer from this affliction usually keep it hidden. It is now believed that this is an incurable mental disorder and can only be controlled by powerful antipsychotics. Pseudo-healthy eating disorder. Obsession with eating food falsely believed to have health benefits, but now proven to be toxic by experts from the Agrichem Scientific Advisory Board. This usually includes substances such as organically grown herbs, fruit and vegetables that have not been chemically cleansed or technologically enhanced. These toxic substances are now hard to obtain, but are still sought after by people suffering from PHED. We were informed that the penance for distributing organic substances will soon be increased to include increased civic duty time at the Agrochem lab, where they will learn all chemical processes involved in creating healthy food. If the perpetrators continue to distribute the toxic organics, then it could result in permanent removal of their children and or property. Next up was Citizenship class. We were advised today that the long-awaited law to give techno-human citizens' rights will come into place next week. Why has it taken so long is a mystery to me. My friend Zhao's birthers kept calling them robots. Zhao warned them that that word had been red-listed, and if they kept it up, they would end up in the linguistic correction facility. This is exactly what happened when Zhao eventually reported them to the Communications Compliance Force. The law change can't come soon enough, considering all our teachers and doctors are now T-humans. Obviously, we will have to start using new pronouns so as not to offend the T-humans. So XE will now be universally used, as it is considered a much more biologically neutral term. Some of my friends are already classing themselves as abiological because the body enhancement tech work they have done makes them feel as much technological as biological. The word human will start to be used from next week, with the word human eventually achieving red list status. Next up, nutrition. Today we were told how essential minerals work in our body. Aluminium, for example, a class 1 nutrient, helps with memory and increases our neural activity in our brains. Over the next few days we will be discussing the benefits of mercury and fluoride and other class 1 nutrients. All of these, of course, we were reminded are plentiful in our bedtime Nutri-Drinks, provided free to every citizen. Our take-home message for today was always watch out for info-terrorists spreading anti-vax and questioning the fully approved truth as handed down by the FATA. We can all agree on that. These info-terrorists with their insane conspiracy theories are a danger to the UGA and all of us. On the way home, my maid came on with the news. The newest model of the mandatory auditory implant device, MAID, is now activated whenever we pass by an information bureau console, which is really handy. The news was scary. It said cancer rates and new unknown diseases are increasing, and we think it is because we didn't give our children enough health augmentation and pandemic prevention inoculations when they are young. The HAPPI jabs only contain 40 different diseases, which is why they hope to have the Super Booster 50 in production by next year. It was admitted by FATA's Jabs for Joy campaign perhaps wasn't strong enough. There were enough pictures of happy, smiling babies after the jabs, but there should have been more images of babies that had died from deadly childhood illness such as the cold, chronic ear infection and tonsillitis, because they didn't get the injections. They also admitted there should have been more severe penance, like 10 years incarceration in an isolation cell being introduced for avoiding the mandatory jabs. However, we are also taught that FATA is also blaming info-terrorists for questioning the safety of HAPPI jabs. Thankfully, one of their coat compounds that had somehow remained unconnected to the network was raided yesterday. The terrorists received swift track to justice and were eradicated to stop the spread of their malign influence. Praise to the assembly. Got home and found my brothers asleep. Looked in the mirror and thought I looked a little pale. I know I am already 15 and can expect some wrinkles, but I had a little too many for my liking. Thinking about getting some tech work done, maybe some thin skin, cheek and neck grafts. The new alloy implants are guaranteed for lifetime. Very tired now. I'm going to take my Nutri-Drink and top up my lithium juice intake to the recommended minimum level. That at least should calm me down and help me relax. This is Eco Sky signing off. Praise to Agrochem, praise to the Assembly, praise to the UGA. So, final credits for that article. Stephen McMurray, A Day in the Life of Tomorrow's Child. A glimpse into a possible future. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Just need to figure out how do I stop this darn thing. How do I stop this recording?